Ben, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I know you've got a busy day ahead of you, so I appreciate you making a bit of time. This podcast is going to be a little bit different to the ones that we usually do, where I'm interviewing heads of marketing, marketing directors, practitioners in B2B, talking about how they grow their businesses. But in this episode, it's a bit special where we've got Ben, who is, how would you describe yourself? Influencer, creator? What's your kind of,
Um,
what do
do
you
you know
prefer?
what? Do you know what? That's a hard one because when I go to events, when I meet new people, I'm still trying to figure out how I introduce myself. I know traditionally people don't like creators, obviously don't like calling themselves influencers. I don't mind because I am an influencer and I'm proud to be an influencer. That's how I make my money. It's my business is like influencing people. So I don't ever feel ashamed to say that an influencer. I think that's just stemmed from maybe traditional reality TV style influencers, etc., that people don't really like too much. I usually describe myself as just like a creator, somebody that makes videos online. And then I'll usually be like, yeah, I'm an influencer. You know, I make creator education about resources for people that want to make videos, tutorials. Really, editing tutorials is just
Mhm.
an easy category for people who don't really know what I mean by creator resources, for them to just understand like a little bit about what I do.
Got it. I'm with you. And actually, on that point, do you see any difference between influencer versus creator, or do you just use those terms interchangeably?
I think the difference between I mean anybody can be an influencer no matter the size. I think influencer comes as a term that you would refer to yourself, I think, as you get bigger and you have bigger influence. Because anybody could start an account tomorrow, make 10 videos, get 100 followers, and they start influencing. So does that then make them an influencer? I actually don't know what actually makes someone truly an influencer. For me, it's having a substantial following and having, I would say, above average influence on people that you don't really know. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
definitely a tricky one there between influencer and creator. Because I mean, everybody is a creator these days in some way, shape, or form, within reason.
I'm with you. So talking about like, I quite like the phrase you use of like having, sizable influence over people that you don't know. And let's kind of use that as a segue to get into more about you, really. So, I came to hear about you through, of course, we've done some work together at Adobe, but also um, like your impact on TikTok has been pretty sizable, right? So you've
Yeah,
shown my feed a lot. That's how I first heard about you. So do you want to give the listeners a bit of a sense of your story and your background, how you got to where you are?
sure. Yeah, I can fight for it. I told this story many times in different ways, but
I bet you have.
uh, yeah, I started creating content like 4 or 5 years ago. Instagram fitness was documenting my journey training for an Ironman. I was like, just yeah, this was like pre-reels, pre sort of like running influencer thing that's going on at the moment. Everybody wants to be a
Hmm.
fitness influencer now. Back then, it was really just my like gym bros, like, and
Got
fitness
it.
influencing wasn't really seen as something that you really wanted to stand up and say, yeah, I want to do that. So I
What
felt really apprehensive about, what do you say, sorry?
context? How long ago was that?
This was 5 years ago.
Right, okay.
And I feel like this was at the point where uh, influencer marketing had been prevalent in makeup, fashion, those sort of niches. And then the fitness influencing niche started to kind of also get bigger as well. But these are all just mega fitness influencers. These are people on Instagram with 500,000 followers, like micro and macro influencers. So like, under 10K, under 100K. I don't think, people hadn't really adopted, brands hadn't really adopted it for that size of influencer. Um, I've done a bit of YouTube, personal development, note taking. Followed Ali Abdul for quite a while. Similar sort of, was trying to, was always interested in sort of the whole personal development space. Time blocking, what apps to use. Was doing a little bit. Did about 50 to 100 videos on there. Then I joined Twitch as a full-time employee. I was in ad operations, managing the back end with a team of people, like putting the video ads on Twitch, pre-rolls, mid-rolls, similar to like what YouTube has. If people don't know the Twitch ad experience, like when you go onto a stream, it will play you an ad at the start of the stream. I was part of the team that just manages the operation of that.
Right.
And then whilst I was at Twitch, I started streaming on the side because Twitch was one of my dream companies to work for. I've always been a gamer. I just thought it was just so fun working there.
It
Like
was.
the culture was what I expected it to be. Everyone very friendly. Just I was just very immersed in the ecosystem of streaming whilst I was at Twitch, alongside my job, which wasn't necessarily around creating or it was just ad operations. It had nothing to do with really streaming itself. Uh, I was playing Warzone, so Call of Duty, a bit of FIFA. It's just the games that I used to playing. So then I started posting on TikTok, went viral on TikTok very quickly, and then like just started because I understood that Twitch is at the bottom of the funnel, has no discoverability. You need like another platform to help bring people over to Twitch. Generally, TikTok for the last 3 or 4 years has been the main platform that people use to do that. YouTube as well, but TikTok short form is just the easiest way to grow a Twitch stream. But then creating short form videos alongside streaming is quite challenging. You're doing two different types of content at once, learning both, and so on and so forth. And then I grew that, but then just felt quite a little bit out of love with streaming. I was an entertainment streamer technically because I was in a gaming category, and I felt like entertainment streaming wasn't really the right personality fit for me, in terms of who I felt like I had to be on camera and how I felt like, because of the audience that I had, and what kind of I felt like their demands were from me as a streaming entertainment person. That burnt me out massively. I'm gonna do a video on LinkedIn about it later. Just about sort of I'm obsessed with this, like the content personality fit and finding that like
Like that.
what's like the content and the niche and the audience that allows you to be like, I would say the best version of yourself, but the person that you feel most comfortable on camera, and it also brings the best light out of you and is sustainable because you have you have an energy on camera that feels right to you. Like when I was streaming Warzone, I had to be this character or persona that was quite far away from who I was normally, and that required more energy to be that person. And I felt like every stream I had to show up and be that person, and that became harder and harder and harder as time went on because I didn't like being that person anymore. It's not me. I'm happy to be like a slight extension of myself here, like have a little bit more energy, but not too much. And that's what led to me burning out. However, like as I had like being at Twitch and immersing myself in the ecosystem, I became quite obsessed with learning how to grow as a streamer. Why wasn't I growing? Why were other people growing? I think I'm better than them, but they're actually doing better than me. Why is that? Trying to like kind of zoom out a little bit and go, okay, what do you actually need to be good at to be a streamer? And I was like, well, you need to be entertaining and you need to have high energy. And I was like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. But then like in doing that, I fell more in love with the kind of analytical side of growth streaming. Like okay, learning how to grow, and then obviously then that made me feel like okay, education is probably what I'm maybe more like suited to, which I had done on YouTube, and my Instagram fitness was a mixture of entertainment and education. And then I started a streaming podcast. I was interviewing streamers, leveraging my network that I'd built, like asking them how they grow. These are like hour and a half, 2 hour long podcasts on YouTube. Would not recommend doing that. That's a lot of work, as you sure you probably know. A podcast. Everybody wants to start a podcast until you actually do it, and you do 10 episodes, and you're like, wow, this is a lot of work, especially if you're a one man or woman band. This is pre long to short AI clip editors as well. So I'm sat there, oh god.
Yeah.
Uh,
A
and
lot.
then went back to TikTok. Was like, right, I'm just gonna do like streaming education, growth advice. I was posting my podcast clips on TikTok, but wasn't having much success. Was like, actually, maybe I need to just like dial in on what my education was. I branched out into streaming tutorials regarding setup, OBS, streaming equipment, because generally streaming is actually quite challenging in terms of from a technical perspective. You need to have the hardware to manage the stream, especially when you're gaming alongside. I used to have two PCs. I have a streaming PC and a gaming PC. They're connected together. All the equipment, microphones, cameras, yeah, all sorts. OBS like plugins. Like, yeah, you can go wild when it comes to streaming in terms of like production value. That it varies with how much effort people put in with what they show on stream. And it amazes me what some people can do. And so I would go away and find really niche tools for people to do X, Y, Z. This might be, and I'll give an example. It might sound like putting bubbles across your stream, like, and it might be, you know, you get the effects in like Google Meet and different programs where it does like green screens. It's like all of that is built. There are loads of those things that are built for OBS, which is the main broadcasting platform that people use.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd go and just like hunt those down, and I found that having a lot of success there because they're so niche, but they're like bells and whistles, and streamers love bells and whistles, and nobody else was like producing content on these super niche tools. Like there's no TikTok videos on these, absolutely none. So it started to gain my account traction, even though this was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more of like an advice growth person, you know, rather than like, oh, here's like how you find a plugin to put bubbles on your stream. You know, it's not really filling me inside with a lot of fulfillment doing that sort of content. But, you know, I'm happy to play the game. I was like, okay, I'm doing well here. I should just, you know, just suck it up and just make videos like this. And then I started doing like more audio. And then I branched out to editing. This was when my TikTok was at around 50,000 followers. And I knew streamers needed to know how to edit because I had been a streamer and I had to learn how to edit. You've got to make clips. You know, you've got to know how to edit. And it's like, let me just start making some editing content. I was using Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro was the main editing software that I was using, and generally lots of streamers were using that as well. This is pre CapCut, pre DaVinci. Well, DaVinci was around, not as popular. People using Final Cut or Premiere Pro. And then those started doing really well because even though it's editing and streaming was still very two different content niches, my audience still wanted that content. And then over time, moved towards like video editing assets. That started doing well. Sound effects, where to find music, anything that's free that can be put into a video. What is it? Where is it? Again, finding niche websites that offer value to people that make videos, and nobody has made a video about it on TikTok before. I'm like, wow, this website's incredible. There's no videos on it. I know this will do well. And it started doing well. And then over the last year or so, I've seen rapid growth as I had hit this kind of creator resource tools niche as the AI tools niche started to boom. I would say last March, April, like post ChatGPT kind of coming to market, everybody building websites on the back of OpenAI's API, everyone now using LLMs to like use as part of their website. AI is everywhere, and I'm like, every week there's just something new coming out, like, or there's multiple things that are coming out aimed at people creating, making videos, making music, you know, so many creator tools. And so then now I was just cherry picking which ones I thought were the best. I would go away, look at them. Okay, this is good. This is not good. And then, of course, I would be the first one to make a video on it because it's come out. I would make it my mission to find something amazing comes out tomorrow. I want to be one of the first to make a video on it. My account is already a decent size. Video does well. Performance does well. Growth is there. So that had been my strategy for the last year or so up until today. And then now I just sort of do a mixture of news updates on new tools, tutorials, anything that I think will find valuable, lists of like, you know, top 5 places to find free music or sound effects, or now I'm a little bit less focused on growth and scaling because my accounts are already at a good size, and actually they're kind of slowing down. It's a little bit harder to grow on platforms. There's more competition with people that do what I do. And now I guess my focus, and we could probably talk about this later on in the episode, is more, I guess, YouTube and LinkedIn. I think the ceiling is a lot higher there for me, whereas on TikTok and Instagram, I've kind of started to hit the ceiling in terms of the opportunities that I get in my inbox, because I think I'm at a size where a lot of the medium to large brands kind of know who I am already in terms of like, you know, like, yeah, my brand. And so now, yeah, I'm trying to now just diversify out to the platforms where I think there's exponential opportunity for me.
Love it. So,
Oh,
cool. So carry on.
I'm done now. Well, I was like, that wasn't too long. That wasn't too long. There's a lot to cover in that. I tried to be quick.
Really good context, and absolutely adore the notion of content personality fit. I think that resonated deeply, and we see a lot, and I certainly speak to a lot of people that are trying to get on the personal branding mission,
Mm.
and like, oh, what should I do? And it's such an important thing where you're like, where do you get your energy from? Because when you start to feel like it becomes a chore to create content, and that's what you've reinvented yourself numerous times. That takes a great
Yes.
deal of like bravery to go, actually, you know what? We often get obsessed with sunk costs, like, oh, I've built my audience around fitness or around streaming. Like, I need to carry on doing that. But actually, you've reinvented yourself numerous times pretty successfully. Just, I think it's quite empowering for people to know that, okay, we've tried something, potentially, it did work, but, it doesn't work for me. Let's try
Yeah.
another.
Yeah, I think the reinventing myself, is pretty powerful. I think that's why a lot of people have resonated with the story that I just told that I put into a YouTube video, because I think people have just giving people hope to see somebody that's basically failed 4 or 5, 6 times in different niches doing different things to have then got back up and just tried something again, because it is just hard. It has been hard to just admit that, like, I felt really passionate about this niche and this type of content when I started. I had some success, and then I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I honestly, I have 5 or 6 different social media accounts. The Warzone account on TikTok is at 100,000. I just left that for dead. It's dormant now. I had to really swallow a pill there, and I started again from zero. Because and my Twitch account was at 12,000, which is a fairly decent size for Twitch, and I just decided, I made the decision to leave it behind. But what I knew was that I'd already built the skills to like know how to make videos, to know how to edit videos, to know how to like get results, etc. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm just starting again, and I can just take all these skills forward and move them to a different niche, and also spend more time just honing my craft a little bit, and just figuring out, how to be better at editing, better at storytelling, just polishing up my content for the audience that it was aimed at.
That's perfect. And like just to give the audience a bit of like guidance as well. So your TikTok is now at how big? How many
It's
followers?
just like 425, I'd say. Yeah, 425.
Is that
And then,
it?
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know how much room I've got to grow on that account. You might think the creator audience is massive on TikTok, but it's actually not. Like, it's far easier to grow in a gaming niche, makeup, fashion, fitness, in a mainstream niche. Creator education is definitely not a mainstream niche, and it's not entertainment, which TikTok and is entertainment content is so well, like, because it's universal. Um, and the education, a lot of people have started doing creator education, I guess, seeing how well it's done for me and other people, inspiring people to kind of do the same thing. And they are now they're finding it hard to get the growth. It's not as easy as it was a year and a half ago.
And actually on the point of like overall growth and hitting ceilings on numbers, like does a limitless ceiling in terms of follower numbers matter? What's your overall goal for doing this? What's the ambition?
um does I don't think the ceiling matters too much. I think, like, they go through periods of slow growth and fast growth, and ups and downs, low views, high views, periods where you just think the account is just not growing at all, and then all of a sudden you have one video and you grow 30,000 followers in a week. And my goal, it's a good question, is for my brand personally, is I just to find what I enjoy doing, from the opportunities that I get. And I know that the more widespread my name is about what I do across different platforms, then the more opportunities I get, the more chance I have to find the things that I enjoy doing. I have lots of opportunities at the moment on the table, lots of ways to make money. I have a really good I've only just really kind of pondered on these thoughts over the last year or so. But every niche from a creator standpoint has a different level of monetization. in terms of the ability to monetize it. Entertainment is definitely not the niche to monetize, because you get lots of views, and so you can monetize through platform revenue, but platform revenue is not very good. And the problem is if you're an entertainment niche, your audience is really, really wide. And so there, from a brand's perspective, they are not really investing in you as a creator for your audience. They're investing in you because you're you, and people kind of like you. But like, if you say to them, or like, if I want to like go to an entertainment creator and I want you to like advertise just like my like a something really, really general, like I'm trying to think off the top of my head what I would say. um like Sky, who I see Sky do quite a bit of stuff, like just like the TV package. You might go to an entertainment creator, but because the audience is so broad. But then like the problem is that like entertainment creators don't create content on tech. Like they create skits and stuff like that. So it's very hard for a brand to see how the content would fit into an entertainment creator as content, because they don't ever create really much content on products or services. So you're kind of buying into like just the trust between the audience. But I think brands realize that actually, instead of going for a large entertainment creator, let's go for a really smaller, really niche education creator. So I think brands actually would much rather go with influencers that are like macro influencers, like more targeted niche, rather than these larger creators. um and then when you're just an educational creator in general, you can sell digital products, consulting, coaching, cohorts, community. Like, there are just, you can then work with brands. There's just so many more ways, I find, to monetize as an educational creator. And I found myself as a creator, I'm like in the perfect niche for monetization. I can do literally every type of monetization from a creator standpoint. um, and it's why I often tell my like gaming audience that is there from my background, do what I did. Enjoy your gaming, right? Enjoy streaming, enjoy like that ecosystem, because it's a fun ecosystem to be in. But don't expect that you're going to build something that lasts there, because you're going to have to be top tier to do that. Use it to build your skill set, use it to learn how to stream, how to make content. And then when you're ready to pivot out to something that's another passion of yours that is more monetizable, because you will have a much greater chance of building something that lasts in terms of like a full-time job, a career. Streaming gaming is not something that you build a career in.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And from a brand perspective, whenever I've been looking at working with creators, it's just a lot easier when you look at someone like yourself to make a decision to go, okay, I can see that how that's immediately applicable for our brand. But let's flip back to TikTok for a second, because
Sure.
I'd love to get some of your, as much as I hate to ask this, but like, I know this will be popular, right? You know what it's like to drive success across multiple platforms. So if
Yeah.
you are going to provide any generic guidance for people, because it's so subject matter or context related, so so general guidance doesn't necessarily work, but there are some best practices. So what would those best practices be for you to
Oh,
grow?
easy. My always go-to advice, because I get questions like this all the time in my live stream from people from every niche under the sun. And I'm like, I don't know your niche. I can't give you niche specific advice. But what I can tell you to do is you build two lists of creators, or people, or businesses. You build like you build an inspiration list of people making videos, probably in your sphere, in your niche, that maybe you want to create content like them. They're doing things that like you look at and go, I wish like I could do that, or like I wish that's like the vision I have. And just find like 10, 15, 20, 25 of these accounts that are like, it's like your vision board, right? And then like the second list is like, these are idea, how do I define these are, let me just explain it. These are lists of creators, brands, businesses that churn out a lot of content that is relevant to what you do. And so the difference between these is that you might find a creator that or that really inspires you because they are creating kind of within your sphere, but they don't actually churn out a lot of ideas that you think that you can put on your page. Uh, whereas an idea creator might churn out a lot of ideas that you can put on your page, but they do it in a style and a format that's just a bit raw. It's just talking head. It's not what you would do. They're just not as polished. And so you use both of these lists to, the inspiration list is to cherry pick different elements of everybody's style and the way they do stuff to just inspire what your style is when it comes to the short form content. And the idea list of people is where you find the outlier videos on the different topics, because these people are churning out constant, like lots of videos on lots of things that you would look at and go, yeah, we would make a video on that because that's relevant to us. And then you get a really big data set of videos across all of the subcategories and or sub pillars that you across the niche that you're in, and you can see what is the audience resonating with the most. And that's where you then niche that down. Okay, right, here are 10 topics in the niche that are performing well for all of these creators in our niche. And then we go to the inspiration list and think, right, how can we turn these ideas into this style here that we've kind of built and want to be based off these creators? And then you create videos that are in the style that you want to be on topics that are going to perform well. That is like, I don't think there's better advice out there than that, in my opinion, when it comes to a kind of generalistic strategy on short form content.
Love it. Super crystal clear. Makes perfect sense. So, in terms of leveraging that data set that you referenced, is this manual work, or, I'm sure there's probably a tool for that somewhere, or is it just take the time to get in the data?
There are tools out there for YouTube. There's like One of 10 and Mr. Beast's tool. I forget what it's called, where they kind of bring you like outlier videos to like a dashboard. TikTok, not really. I prefer doing it manually. The easiest way to do it is to just define a load of search terms in your niche or hashtags. Use ChatGPT for this. It's great. Like, say, this is my niche. Can you give me a load of search terms? And then just rabbit hole on ones that are right for you. And you can build this mega list of just like search terms, or use like Answer the Public, or one of these tools where you just sort of like, what questions are your audience asking, right? Use them to go then into TikTok. TikTok actually is a lot better. The search feature in TikTok is way better than Instagram. I search for those, and then generally, if the term is quite broad, you'll get then a load of videos that are the best performing videos under that search term. You can use the filter to niche down if you want by time, but once you've got those search terms, just go on that creator's page, and then this is when you then make an evaluation of what sort of creator this is. Do we like this person's style? No, but do they churn out lots of ideas on the topics that we want to create on? Yes. Okay. And then you just rinse and repeat this across different search terms. And as you do this a lot, you then start to get an understanding of the majority of people in your niche. Like, I know, because I do this quite religiously. Anyone that's above 100K that does what I do on TikTok, I'll know who they are within like 90% of them. Because I will always, they will have a big video somewhere, or they'll have multiple big videos somewhere, and I would have seen them. And so then I know really off the top of my head, who is it that I go to when I want inspiration? Who is it that I go to when I've seen ideas? Because like the rate another creator churns out ideas is also important in terms of the idea list, because some people post every day, some people post once a week. I ideally want somebody that's really low effort content and they post every day or even 2 or 3 times a day, because they are playing the quantity over quality game, which gives a bigger data set, because they are playing that game where they just want to hit lucky with one every 5 to 10. Where rather than me, who posts twice a week, I play for the quality game, and I do my research, and I try and make videos that I think will do well, or I just think are really valuable, rather than just, because there's always this quantity versus quality argument by people on short form platforms. How many times to post a week? And I can answer this question. I think it's a question that a lot of people always ask. I think post um, post like how much you can maintain and be consistent with. So if you can post 3 times a week and do that every week, then do 3 times a week. If you can post 5 times a week and maintain that, then do five. But you can't sacrifice quality. You'll have to have if you're posting 5 times a week, you have to have time and room to also be coming up with the idea, scripting, like making improvements to those 5 pieces of content, rather than every video just being another video that you've just posted out with the same process that you posted before. So you're not leaving much room for like development, other than development that comes from being consistent, if that makes sense. This
Yeah.
is I'll re-explain this in a different way, because this is the biggest thing I learned, and the biggest thing that had the thing that had the most impact on my growth is that for a long time I relied on consistency for improvement and growth when I was a Call of Duty creator, meaning that I didn't give. I was streaming so much and I was posting every day or every other day, and I allowed myself not much time to actually go and learn how to get better. I relied on being consistent to get me better, and being consistent got me to a point where I did get better, but then I plateaued in my ability to go further. And people rely too much on consistency for success, but consistency doesn't bring you success, because everybody is very different in terms of their ability and natural talents to create. And consistency only gets you so far. And I found that actually, for me, posting less, but spending more time learning how to get better, how to write better hooks, how to be a better visual storyteller, how to, edit, like do different types of editing, like just research and learning, putting more time into that. So then every video or every 3 or 4 videos, I am making progression because of what I've learned, got me far better results than posting just high volumes of content.
Super interesting. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. There's been a debate about quality versus quantity in social for well, since the dawn of social. So
Yeah,
I appreciate your insight. Um, so you've recently uh, pivoted would be the wrong word, but you started to explore other channels, and this is another way that I think, this is the theme throughout everything that we've heard so far today, Ben. It's like you're always pushing to what's next, whether it's
yeah,
changing your niche and your focus, whether it's switching up your content game from quantity to quality and upping your editing game, and also thinking about other platforms. Again, it's like what I really respect and certainly see from you is like, whereas a lot of people suffer from the sunk cost fallacy, where you're like, I've always been doing this, so that must mean I should continue doing it. Which, you're always looking to go, where's my white space? Where's my opportunity? Where's the biggest ceiling for growth? And now you've already referenced like LinkedIn and YouTube. So let's zone in on LinkedIn, because
sure.
a lot of the audience listening to this will be very interested in this. So
Mm,
you basically you were doing nothing on LinkedIn. You've just started. You basically
yeah.
started from scratch. So give me your kind of rationale, your learnings, that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is a good question for me to answer now, because my YouTube video this afternoon is on link this.
Good.
Is a video convincing people why they link. My title is along the lines of like, I think LinkedIn is the biggest opportunity for creators in 2025. I mean, anyone that wants to make video, it's a big opportunity, because as many people listening will know and have seen, is video is now on LinkedIn, right? It's in the general text feed, like about 3 or 4 posts down, as like a carousel, and then there's the dedicated uh,
Hmm.
feed on mobile. And I think like, I mean, I used to be on LinkedIn when I was younger, corporate, like, and then I just didn't like it, and then now I'm back on it. It now is, I can say LinkedIn is in now my daily scrolling habits, for sure. I don't mind it now. I think it's changing from being a platform that is traditionally being like corporate BS, or people selling, or look at my achievements, or da da da, to like people just providing educational value, and there's no ask there. It's just like everyone's trying to build their personal brand, right? Personal brand is massive on LinkedIn. It just seems to be a bit of a buzzword, like, right, how are you building your personal brand, right? And I think everyone's built that through text, and now there's video, and I just think video is 10 times more powerful than text, because it's video. Like, you can actually show people who you are, what you're about, your personality. People can um, have a lot more stronger connection with you because they can, they can feel like who you are. And I know that like this is a big opportunity because in terms of competitiveness and like the bar, it's so low compared to other platforms. It's hard to grow on TikTok. It's hard to grow on Instagram. It's hard to grow on YouTube. It is because all of those platforms, I don't want to say they're saturated, but there's a lot of people that wanted to grow on them. LinkedIn, there just aren't lots of people making videos because you don't have all of the kind of creators from the other platforms on LinkedIn that are just like trying to be creator influencers. Um, you have some people who have been doing video on LinkedIn for a while because that's just what that's they enjoy LinkedIn video. They enjoy doing video, and then now you've just got a lot of people who've traditionally been just sort of text writing posts, who are probably seeing the opportunity now as like, oh, video is a new product for LinkedIn, and they're going to probably start giving people, let's just rewarding people that are using the new product, as every platform does when they launch a new product. You use it, you can maybe get benefits that you
Definitely.
wouldn't otherwise get from an existing platform feature. And LinkedIn are boosting videos, like because I think the the supply and demand is really one sided, and there's just not much supply and there's a lot of demand for videos. People will spend their time on LinkedIn watching videos than on other platforms. But maybe if they're at work as well, I don't know whether that also has impact in that, like, you know, are people do people feel more comfortable scrolling on a LinkedIn video feed whilst they're at work than on TikTok? Is that perceived as being, more
Interesting.
work friendly social media platform? I don't know,
I think there's
maybe.
something in that.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, who knows? Because it's okay to just scroll on your desktop on LinkedIn at work. Nobody's gonna bat an eyelid. But if you just sat there on TikTok, people are like, "What are you doing?" So, so people. I think a lot of people are gonna naturally go to the video feed because video is just more engaging to watch. Like, and I know, like, and I just think that the opportunity here is to just get ahead before everybody else catches up. Like to establish yourself as someone that like creates videos on a certain topic or certain niche or certain area and start building your skill set on a platform where the bar isn't as high. And what opportunities will that lead to? I don't know. I never know what opportunities my videos will lead to, but I know they lead to lots of opportunities. There's always one round the corner that surprises me. And I think it's just a big opportunity for people to take advantage something that's not oversaturated that could get you exponential results.
Really interesting. So have you taken the same approach to LinkedIn as you described for TikTok in starting from scratch? So
Yeah.
what's your
So
approach been?
I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been struggling to be consistent with LinkedIn. It's just because I've been overthinking my strategy, which I'm sure a lot of people always do. And I did a post about this the other day, and that like I've been too focused on who's my one customer, who's my audience. Do I need to make all of my content about influencer marketing? Do I need to make it about B2B influencer marketing? Do I make it about editing? Do I aim it for creators? Do I aim it at solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people, agencies that wanted to do video? Because I've got my primary audience is creators, but my like secondary audience, my tertiary audience is on my other platforms are like agencies, editors, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, businesses, people and so I'm like, oh, it's preventing me from just
Interesting.
doing the thing. So I'm like, right, Ben, why don't you just post videos that just come under like the creator ecosystem? That could be about making videos. It could be about making money from videos. It could be about influencer marketing. So I'm just like trying not to overthink it and just post anything that I post on my other accounts. I cross post. And then I'm also starting to think about a LinkedIn specific video strategy that has more of a business lens, because my other content doesn't necessarily have much of a business lens because it's generally aimed at beginner to intermediate creators. So it's just thinking about, can I just switch on the camera and just give a 1 to 2 minute opinion piece video on something that has happened to me, I've learned, and just a general story and advice to people, maybe from my perspective of being a, you know, kind of like a B2B influencer, um, and what I've learned, and that's it. No editing, not much time, just spending making the video, just a thought, low effort, and just sort of I'm still in a big experimentation phase on LinkedIn. Like, I don't know what's going to work, and I don't know what's not going to work. And I've noticed that they don't really their video. They don't have an engagement based algorithm in the video feed. It's all very boosting. I don't know how the so it's like, actually, I don't even know what works and what doesn't work, because them boosting my video to 5 million impressions is not telling me that it works. It's because they're boosting it. So I'm still trying to figure out what my LinkedIn audience wants from me. And I stepped back and just gone, do you know what? I should just be the niche of Ben. Like, I know people talk about it last, like, you become the niche, right? I've never been really on board with that. But for LinkedIn, I think, like, because LinkedIn, I think, is the personal branding is far bigger on LinkedIn than any other platform, in my opinion, in terms of the buzz around it, and like you being you, and your name is you, and like it's all about you. And I'm like, why don't I just be the niche of Ben, and just people are interested in just what I'm talking about, and they know generally that what I'm going to be talking about is going to be something within the creator ecosystem, which is quite a broad area. It could be AI, it could be how to work with influencers, and that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it, to prevent me from kind of having this analysis paralysis, and just not posting anything at all. Just post. I'm trying to do maybe post 5 times a week, 3 video, 2 text, because I don't really like text too much. So yeah, I'm trying to maybe do 2 videos that are cross posting a week, 1 video that's like LinkedIn specific, and then 2 text posts, just to develop my ability to get better at just writing pure text posts as well.
Because it still feels to me that that's still an important part of the content mix on LinkedIn. You know, they even
Yes.
make a point about it in like best practice for video, making sure you've got more than 50 words, because it's still that's still an important part, which is quite interesting, quite different to the other short form platforms. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate your honest take on that as well, Ben. Like, you know, like you are a professional creator, influencer, but like you're always still learning and experimenting, and I think that resonates deeply.
Yeah. I have the same problems as most other people still. You know, I still overthink what I'm posting. I still question sometimes what I'm posting, especially when I mean, even on my TikTok, you know, it's like, is this enough value? You know, is this is the standard that I set myself, and how do I raise that bar every time? And, well, how do I just constantly raising this bar that never ends, you know?
Yeah,
And yeah, just on your point about it, I have spoke to some people at LinkedIn, and they are very protective over what they've built for their members. I know they call them members. Like, and I know that they will be fully aware that there is a divide in introducing video, and we don't want this platform to be like TikTok and Instagram and other platforms. And
definitely
I
that
I
voice.
think that
Yeah,
the product team and the strategy team around, like, the evolvement of the platform in terms of the features and the UI and how it's used on mobile and desktop, I think they're very conscious of that, from my understanding when I spoke to a few of the team, and that they are rolling video out slowly. I think they are not sure how it's going to evolve in terms of how it looks on the platform. I actually quite like how it is at the moment. I like the fact that the general homepage feed is just the text, and there's not much video in there, and that's where people will go who want to just read. And then there's the video feed. I would think that is a really perfect balance, and meets the needs of people who want to just scroll and on a video, and people that just want to read text because that's just what they enjoy doing. But I am curious and interested to see how, you know, the platform evolves around video, and how it impacts the text feed. Do people focus then less now posting on text? Does that reduce the quality of text because less people are posting text because more people are posting video? I don't know. Yeah, it's like there's just going to be like how does, if this is like where text is now in terms of volume and video is down here, like like in terms of all the people posting, how does that like balance shift and change like over the next 6 to 12 months, and even in the next couple of years? Like, I don't know, video is still hard to adopt for a lot of people because it's time consuming. It's a lot more effort than just writing, so incredibly more effort. And so I still think video will be uh, people will be slow to adopt video, I think, which, even going back to the point, bigger opportunity for people that move fast. Because yeah, people will try video for the first time and they'll be very much surprised by how much effort and how hard and how time consuming it is, and how much imposter syndrome they have by putting their face on camera, how much they hate their voice, how much they hate watching a video of themselves.
Yeah.
And then they'll do it and they'll go, no, this is not for me, I'm just going to go back to text. But for the ones that can get through that, then I think there's a real opportunity for those people.
I love it. Yeah, such a great take. And yeah, conscious of time, because I know I need to get
we're
you
all
out.
good, I think. Yeah.
There was a conversation I think you posted a video about this on LinkedIn a couple of months ago, and we had a conversation about this very topic because it's something I've been thinking about a lot, which is the evolution of influencers slash creators in B2B, and how do B2B brands work with creators most effectively. And we started talking about like different ways of monetization and incentivizing long-term commitment. So I really want to get into that because this is an area that's kind of captivating me at the moment. So yeah, give me your take on this.
All right, let's go. I'll give my number one piece of advice at the moment that I don't think anybody else is giving. Well, maybe they are, but I'm just going to get from my perspective as an influencer that gets a lot of emails from brands, businesses, SaaS companies, let's say, whether they're B2B, they're B2B and B2C. Like, I am not interested in your product. like most of the time, like, I don't know who you are. I've never heard of you. And so, like, the problem is that because a lot of B2B brands are new into the influencer space, I think they are unaware of the fact that bigger influencers cost a decent amount of money. I think they think that you can just get a video for £200 and, no, like, this is a proper marketing channel. We are not cheap. And that's the reality. But I think a lot of B2B brands coming into the space don't realize that. And then they soon realize that actually £200-300 don't get you very far. And so how do you then, if you don't have the budget, or you haven't allocated that budget to go on influence marketing, how do you get the bigger people to pay attention to what you do and your product and your service without having to pay them the fee? Because I'll give some context. I will charge upwards of £5,000 a video, cross posting. I'll upsell. So that's I'm expensive. I'm not going to lie. And so I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, what are brands doing and not doing in my inbox to get my attention? Because if I get 10 emails a week from companies all doing the same thing from the outset to me, because this is what happens. Let me take an AI website builder, right, for example, because I get a ton of emails from people who have built these new AI website builders, one click. And on the outset, I categorize them all as the same. I'm not interested. Like, I've seen you're the 10th email I've got this week. I know that you're not going to have budget for me based off of me having conversations with people like you 100 times already. So I'm not even interested in building the conversational relationship. And maybe that's on me. That's a, like, I should, but I don't have the time, right? And there are lots of influencers like this. We don't have the time to be going and analyzing all of the businesses that email us. So I think, how do they make this easier for me? What can brands do to get my attention and other influencers' attention? And I think it starts with offering a free subscription, whether it's a year or it's lifetime, I don't know. Because to me, for a B2B brand, that is not that costly. I think it's different if you're product based and you've got to send out like physical goods, then there's risk there. But you giving me a code to your platform for me to try out is not that costly. And there are three outcomes here. I use the platform. I don't really think it's valuable, or I don't use it, and I don't promote it to my audience, and I don't actually use the subscription itself. And so I'm not actually costing you really anything for usage. And, you've just given me a code, and that's, I don't know what a code costs a SaaS business to give out for free that someone actually doesn't use, but it can't be that much.
Mm,
Um,
absolutely
yeah.
nothing.
And so then you've got outcome two. I use it. I don't find it's that valuable for me because of my workflow and what I do, but I know that it's valuable for a subset of my audience. And I will actually maybe recommend it to people in my audience in the comments on my live stream through my content. Da, da, da. And then there's outcome three, which is the best outcome, is that I use it. I'm like, wow, this is valuable. It fits into my workflow or the tools that I use, and I then become a brand advocate. And now I'm now promoting it um, for free, basically, to my audience because I love it. However, the problem is how do you? Okay, you give me a free subscription, but how do we go like one step further than that? And for me, it's an affiliate program. A lot of startups and B2B businesses lack an affiliate program. And I'm not talking about a 5% affiliate program. I'm talking about, a 30-40% affiliate program, perhaps on the first 3 months. So that it's not every month forever. You might take a bit of a hit on the profit here, on the user acquisition, on the signups. But what that does, it now incentivizes me to not only check out your tool, but I want it to be good. I want it to be valuable to my audience. And to go another step further, to make it even easier for me in terms of the cold email that you're saying to me, say, this is how I would do it. Say, hey Ben, we've got this tool. It's da 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 da. We want you to try it out. So here's a subscription for 12 months or lifetime, whatever you want to give away. Oh, and by the way, we have an affiliate program that when you sign up user, you'll get 30% 3 to 4 months. And then give me the example of the cost. Literally spell it out for me, which means, so if you sign up 100 people over the next year in your subscription, you will make £9,354. And I've gone, wow, you've now just like given me an example of how much I can make for signing up people. And I can do that at choice. I don't have to make a video for you. There's no contract here. And then you say, all we need from you, Ben, is just your email address. Just either this email address or that, and we'll go up and set up everything for you, and you're good to go. I have not come across a brand that has done that for me. And if one brand does that for me, I go, oh, no, they've just given me a free subscription. They've just given me an incentive. I am going to go to that platform. And like I said just a minute ago, I want it to be good. I want it to be value for a subset of my audience because I can now profit off of it. Right. And I'm going to hopefully get to outcome two or outcome three. And maybe you give me all of that and outcome one is, okay, I don't promote it. I don't use it. But again, what have you lost here? Nothing. And so what B2B, and I missed this step at the start, I'm sorry, what brands should be doing is who do you email and do this for, right? Who are the influencers that you pick? Well, you have to pick ones that are already talking about businesses, services, products related to what you do in your niche. Like me, it baffles me when I ask music subscription platforms. I say, can you just give me a free can you give me a free thingy? And they're like, oh, we've got an affiliate program. You can get like, I don't think you realize don't stop treating me like your customer. I'm not a customer to you. I am your gateway to 1,000 more customers. Like that is it. So please treat me like that. Right. I don't care about your brand. I just care about, seeing whether you're a good fit for some of my audience. And if there are 5 brands all competing within your space and they're all the same, so let's go back to the AI tool website builders. There's 5 of them. They're all pretty the same. And I actually have a subscription to 2 of them, and I think they're actually somewhat valuable. If my audience asks for a recommendation, they're only going to be recommended one of those 2. And those out of those 2, those were the 2 that stepped forward and gave me the subscription. They gave me the affiliate program. They gave me an incentive to recommend. If you're in that other 3 and you actually, maybe you're slightly better than the 2 that I've got, or maybe, you're actually pretty decent, but I haven't got the time to be checking you out. I don't care. You haven't given me an incentive. I'm not that interested in doing this for every single product category or service category that exists. I want you to make it easy for me so I have a pool of services that I'm able to try out and recommend, and I think this is good enough for that audience. And so as a B2B brand, how do you make sure that that all of the influencers that create content around your services have easy access to product and an incentive to promote it? That is just, I don't think it's that groundbreaking, but nobody is shouting about this. And when I evaluate the risk versus reward here, as in the risk is that everyone is outcome one, we've given 50 influencers a code and none of them use it, versus some of them using it and promoting it, some of them becoming advocates, I think the reward far outweighs the risk here if you pick the right influencers.
And it's
Sorry, I
fascinating.
ranted there really hard, but I'm super
Okay.
passionate about this as a
Yes.
tactic because it just makes sense to me.
Yeah. It's so fascinating for me to hear it from like your perspective that people or brands are not taking that approach anyway. It seems so darn simple.
Yeah,
Yeah, and considering that it's usually marketers that should be reaching out to you, so they really should understand this. Anyway, but that notwithstanding, I think it speaks volumes of like what's actually the more impactful thing for a brand. Like someone paying you 5 grand to do a post, yeah, you'll reach probably maybe get 500,000 views, I don't know, something like that, and probably drive a couple of purchases that you could directly attribute to it. Or what would you rather? Someone like you who's then a genuine advocate over the long term, which the more impactful thing when someone actually in your audience now wants to buy, who's the person they're going to turn to? They're going to go to the person they trust most in the space, which is Ben.
mm.
So then they go to Ben and go, oh, what AI web builder do I use? And then Ben goes, oh, well, I've got my affiliate deal with that one and they're
Yeah.
great, I like the product. And that is the thing that's the most like obvious thing to me around influencer marketing why B2Bs don't get it because we think so short term.
Yeah, short term numbers. You need ROI within 3 months. Like, it's just
And it's not the way people buy because when you post your
no.
video, you know, those 500,000 people you're going to reach for your video, there's only a tiny proportion are actually looking for an AI web builder
Yeah.
tool in that moment. But over the long term, the long tail is flipping massive of people looking for AI web builder tools. So
Yeah.
like the correct incentivization over the long term is everything. So
So
love it.
just tailing off on that to my second idea that I have because then this people are like this because I get there's an obsession over tracking everything, and I've been thinking about this a lot because it combats the point that you've said when I make my video and 90% of the audience is just at the brand awareness stage, so they're not ready to purchase, and then 10% are ready to purchase. And then actually of that like 2% actually purchase, and I only get attributed like to that 2% because they've used my code at that time, and actually all of the rest of the people, no matter like who go and purchase in 3 months time, 5 months time, 6 months time, that forget my code, there's no attribution back to me as the influencer. And so I've been thinking, how do I solve this? Because I've come across some brands that just really are just dialed into attribution costs, and I'm like based off of my sign up code, and I'm like, what about everything else? Oh, we don't. That's not how we measure success. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, right. If I'm going to have to deal with this, how do I think of how the solution to this? And my solution is this: when you work with an influencer through a paid video, so it's going to go on their feed, promoting your paid service. I want brands to also think about what lead magnet they can also create that goes with that in the campaign. So I'm going to use music subscription services as an example here because I do a lot of work with them. I'm promoting, let's say, Epidemic Sound. All right, the subscription to Epidemic Sound. As you said, not everybody is going to be at the purchase decision stage for buying a music subscription service. They're about $20 to $25 a month. New creators, that's a big cost for them. They want to do that, but at some point they'll run out of all the free music and they'll realize a music subscription service is they need one. And so if I can't capture capture the purchase data at that period of time for everyone that I influence, I think generating a free lead magnet that solves a widespread problem for my audience can do that, because then I can get you emails, and you'll have cost associated emails, and so what would an example be? Like the music provider creates a 1-hour masterclass on how to use sound effects in videos, very widespread problem, or like how to use music in videos, how, I don't know, something that appeals to a lot of my audience related to the niche. And so in the video, I promote the services, and then halfway through I go, by the way, Epidemic have also created this 1-hour masterclass. Go to this site, sign up, it will be completely for free. People like free stuff. Even if they don't really want the free stuff, they still take the free stuff because they just do. It's just weird user behavior. Like people just you say something's free, people just want it, even though they know that they don't really want it. And then what that will do for the business, it will generate you a load of emails, which you can then put into your sales funnel. And then when they eventually purchase, you've then got some attribution there that you can go back to the influencer, because that influencer generated you those emails. And I've not seen many brands doing this either, because when brands pay for a video, they are so obsessed with driving conversion at the bottom of the funnel.
Yeah,
And they don't have any way of tracking the brand awareness that I'm generating as well. And I think a free lead magnet solves that problem. And also it's just a really nice value add to the video, because you're giving away something for free that's really valuable, solves a really widespread problem that can still help those people at the top, those people that are not ready to buy the music service. Because actually I've got lots of free music that I use, but actually if you now create something that shows me how to use that free music, I'm interested now. And this is just so easy for brands to do, like to just think about what can they can, and probably even already got their own like info products and lead magnets that they just get the influencer to promote within a 5-second window within their video. And yeah, it's just lead gen capture. Like I have not seen it really that happening much in B2B influencer marketing, and I think it solves the problem, part of the problem of attribution.
yeah, yeah. That is gold dust. To be honest with you, such practical advice. I see that, and it's strange when we think about influencer marketing. Often we, as marketers, fall into the trap of thinking about it like it's like we treat it like paid media. Like
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
going,
I know this. This is literally the same thought that I have. It's just treat it like paid media. We should and need to be able to track everything. And it's
this
just
doesn't happen. That's a real practical way of solving it, and it helps people understand that this is part of a funnel, and your job is to take people really from awareness to consideration, not
mm,
from awareness to purchase. That might happen, but that's a nice second order effect. What we're actually trying to do with influencer marketing is, hey, we've actually got someone that genuinely knows what they're talking about, supporting our brand, which bridges the most important thing, which is that trust gap that exists in, like, I don't need another fucking AI web builder tool. Like, how
yeah,
trust you? So
yeah.
with that trust gap, take people from awareness to consideration. That the funnel, thinking about from a funnel perspective,
Yeah,
it's so obvious why it's strange why marketers lose their mind when it
yeah.
influencer marketing. But
It's funny because like I've had this idea because I'm watching other creators. Like there's this all big noise at the moment in the creator economy about like how creators are like, killing it, building creator businesses. And the reason why they are killing it is because they have a really good like lead, like magnet, like offering, like and they associate it to the appropriate video that they make on, and they capture, and then they just bring them down the funnel. And this is what some of my creator friends who are much smaller than me make. They make upwards of 20-30 grand a month from simply just creating basic info products that they've put in a PDF that solves a common problem. They make a video on it, something that's relevant, and they just say, by the way, I've got this. They use a ManyChat integration on Instagram, or they do it that way, and then they get people into their email, and everyone is like, then you get your true fans in your email, and then you just sell to them. And creators are doing this a lot now. It's just, and this is how they're winning. And I think, yeah, and even though B2B business are doing that as well, like in lead capture in other channels, they're not doing it through influencer marketing.
yeah,
Because generally people just want to pay for a video, track conversion at the bottom of the funnel, and then that they'll track it for 2 or 3 months, and then that will be campaign closed. And okay, this is how much it cost, and this is how much that traffic, that influencer, how much revenue that influencer generated from us by their conversion code, the code that they use to convert the users, which I hate the 10% code as well. Get rid of it. It's so legacy, that 10% code. Because again, if people don't remember the 10% code that I promoted 6 months ago, which they could also get off Google, to be honest, I would like brands to think the other idea, that wild idea that I'm not super wild, but I try to also solve the code problems, the legacy behavior on a code. Is like, you need some back-end infrastructure to do this, or a platform to run this. But is there a way that like people could save that code somewhere? Like, so in a video, I get more of an exclusive discount. So it's not a generic discount. it's a better than everywhere else discount. So it's 15%. And I say, if you're not ready to purchase now, you can take this code and you can register it here on the website. If you just go to the website, you can register the code, your 15%. So when you are actually ready to buy in 6 months' time, then it's there. And I think that, again, is just giving that incentive to people at the brand. I would do that. If someone says, I've got an exclusive discount for you for 20%, and I'm like, do you know what? I know I might need this in the future. I'll go to that site, register it. And then again, we're making more progress and effort towards having better attribution back to the influencer. Because this 10% legacy code idea is just trash. It's just, I hate it. And I hate it when brands basically focus all of their attention on that as the metric for, related to attribution.
I'm so with you on that, and I really like the idea of saving that code for later, registering it, etc. But to
Yeah.
be honest, your lead funnel idea would solve that problem too, because it
Yes,
would all
yeah.
track through UTMs, right? As soon as someone's registered email address, you've got their source, you can follow that one through really easily. But yeah, mate, this has been practical. I knew this conversation would be epic, mate. So, and I
Yeah,
know.
I've got lots of ideas because I've come into the influencer space like over the last year and been very surprised by how much is just lacking, how much innovation is lacking. I don't know whether it's partly because on the brand side, like everyone is just following traditional B2C behavior. And it's actually nobody's innovating within the B2B influencer space. And then on the influencer side, you don't have many influencers, I feel like me, who actually will stand up and say, this is not how we should do it. We should do it like this, because most influencers just want to take their bag of cash and just move on to the next one. And I've kind of like come to this position where I'm like, do you know what? I could make strides in the space by being an influencer that actually speaks up for other influencers and says, no, stop doing it like this and do it like this, because I think it will work like this. Like because I've done a lot of paid brand deals, and I know what works, I know what doesn't work, I know what my audience like, and I know what they don't like, and I know how to get more views and drive more value to brands. You just have to listen and trust me. But it's kind of, it's a bit, I find it really frustrating that I guess brands they think they know what they're doing, but I look at them and go, you don't know what you're doing. Because that's definitely not how I would be doing it to drive the most value.
Yeah, I'm so with you. And in the same way that you've seen a whole bunch of white space that you're exploiting on LinkedIn now, there is even more white space and ceiling for growth as it relates to like influencers, particularly in B2B, because it's so nascent. And we've spoken about this before, is like, distribution is a B2B's primary strategic advantage. Products are ubiquitous now, so the only thing that's going to separate you've perfectly identified it already today, Ben. Like,
Yeah.
what separates the 10 different AI web building tools?
Mm.
The one that wins is distribution.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I didn't make this point, but it is the same with product as well. And this is my pitch to brands to just send me stuff for free, because I like free stuff as well. I'm like, I live stream 3 times a week, and I get bombarded with, what camera do you use? What mic do you use? What lights do you use? And I said, do you know what I recommend? I recommend what I have, because I have it. And so I have about 5 or 6 mics over there, and I will go and pull them out and go, this one is this cost. I like this one, this one, this one, and this one. If your mic is not over there on my shelf, I'm not recommending it. And so, yes, like the cost to the brand, okay, that's 150, 200 pound mic. And they were like, but they want something in return. They want guaranteed video numbers, to cost. I'm like, I'm not going to do you a video. I don't, because if we're talking about me doing a video, you got to pay me 5 grand. And now it's like, okay, well, then it's like a bigger risk here. No, just give me the product and I'll promote it because I've got it. Like, and this is exactly the same point with the B2B stuff I've got. If I haven't got it, I'm unlikely to promote it, because like I'm only going to promote it if I haven't got it, if I know it's the best, and if it's the best, I'll have it. So it's all of these like the mid-range products, or the ones where there's just a real battle for competition because nobody's really that different. Like, the way that you win in that market is that you just make sure the right influencers have easy access to your service, and then they have it in their just pool of ones that they use. That's just a summary of how I think that you can make progress to working with influencers and winning.
Mate, absolutely love it. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
No
This
worries. It was a good
absolutely
conversation. I enjoyed it. I love
amazing.
talking about this stuff. I'm really passionate about it, as you can tell by
Yeah, we can tell.
when I get into it. It's just, yeah, I just really want change. I really want change and people to just take more risk. Um,
Amazing. Thank you so
Sweet.
much. See you
Thanks,
soon.
Andy. Bye
Cheers.
bye.